So I think the dream for a lot of us as wedding filmmakers is being able to capture and create wedding films with the smallest footprint possible. Because hauling in case after case, worrying about lighting, audio, all the things that go into making a wedding film is stressful and it's exhausting, and we envy the photographers with their one bag and their one lens and on-camera flash. That's all they have to worry about, and we're over here hauling 5 tripods away from ceremony to get set up for a reception, and then we got to get back to the ceremony site to do family and portraits, and oh my gosh, it's a lot. So for today's video, I want to unpack my tiny camera bag that allows me to create wedding films in a minimal, efficient, and stress-free way. First up is the bag itself. This is the Nomatic Camera Sling Bag, and it's by far my favorite bag. Because it's small, it's lightweight, it's spacious enough to pack everything I need, and the biggest selling point really is its versatility and comfortability. That's one thing with camera bags and sling bags, satchels, whatever you're using. There needs to be a comfort factor involved. Because you're going to be hauling this thing around 8-9 hours, you need to just make sure that this thing is going to be cozy. It is also water resistant, which is another must-have feature, if I'm being honest. It did rain at my last wedding, and being able to not have to stress about all the gear inside my bag, all the electronics, getting wet, getting ruined, getting damaged, that really offered peace of mind, because there is nothing worse than stressing out over your gear potentially getting damaged, and I'm not even going to go into that. And the best thing about this bag, like I said before, is it's actually comfortable. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys and say that even after 8 to 9 hours, your shoulders will still be a little sore, because with any bag, any weight that you're carrying around for that long, it's gonna do some damage. But it is minimal compared to the other bags and satchels that I have used. So now that I've talked about the bag that I am using, let's talk about all the goodies inside of it. First up is, of course, my main camera, the Sony a7S III, paired with my brand new small rig Hawk Lock cage. This is a brand new cage with a quick release system that is just so nice and useful. Makes my life of setting up my camera a lot more efficient. And it just gives me peace of mind knowing that everything is really secure, it's sturdy, it's very durable, and it just looks really cool. The feeling of it is a lot better than my current cage on my a7 IV. And if I'm being honest, the setup process and the constant tightening of the screws was a bit of a nuisance at every single wedding. So having a push to connect system is actually really useful, and I actually love that a lot better. My only concern with that cage is at what point in time will the buttons stick, get caught up in itself, and I won't be able to attach anything. That's my only concern with that cage, but it is really nice. So if you guys are wanting to find out more information about this thing, just check it out in general. If you need a new cage, I will have that in the description below. With wedding season in full swing, now is the time to consider hiring a video editing service to help you alleviate the stressors of backlog. Take it from me, someone who has spent years wasting away in front of a computer, wishing I had that time back, wishing I had a way to just kick that stress out of my life, grow my business, and spend time with those that matter most. And that is where Uncut Gems comes into play. They are a high-quality video editing service that I have been using for the last few months to really help me alleviate that stress in my life. And right now, they are offering you guys 65% off on your first edit. So head over to uncutgems.com, use my code Wayward65 at checkout so that you can kick backlog in the face and get back to being excited about your business. Next is actually something that lives on my a7S III, and if I'm being honest, it was an impulsive buy, and that is the Pocket Disposable Lens. I was definitely influenced to buy this thing because I'm a sucker for nostalgia, and I thought it would be cool to experiment with some new ways of creating wedding films. So I haven't really tested it out yet. I've done a few test shots here at home, which I'll show you guys on screen here so you can get an example of what this looks like. So there are some drawbacks from a video perspective. Obviously, in-body stabilization is going to be non-existent here. You're going to want to use a tripod or a monopod to make sure that your shot is stable. But from a photographer standpoint, I think this is a great lens to consider if you want something unique, something different, and just to add a fun perspective to your work. But moving on to the next item in my camera bag, and that is of course a spare lens. If you're solo shooting, it's going to be super helpful to also have an additional focal length in your bag, whether it's a zoom or a prime lens. For me, I keep the 24-70 on my main camera at all times, and then usually I am putting a prime lens or another zoom lens inside my camera bag. Especially for dancing and low light venues, you definitely want a lens that has a very low aperture so that you can get as much light inside your camera as possible, create a ton of depth and background separation, and that's where the 50mm really shines. But I have been experimenting with the 28-45, the brand new lens from Sigma that I did a recent video on. If you want to check that out, I will have it linked above. But this is just to reduce the payload even more so that maybe I can add something else that could be super useful and beneficial. So that is one reason why that lens is also a great option to consider. But next up, let's talk about one of the most important items that you gotta have in your camera bag, especially if you are a videographer, and that is gonna be your audio gear. So I have at least 3 pieces of audio equipment inside this bag at all times. One is the brand new DJI Mic 2. This is a mic that I have been experimenting with to replace my white Tascam for miking the bride, especially in certain situations like a first look or a letter read. I don't think that it's going to fully replace the Tascam strap solution for the ceremony because there's really not a great way to conceal it just yet, but I am experimenting because I just don't like the mic strap thing anymore. It's just a nuisance. It's kind of it just creates this wedge and this barrier again for creating. And even though the bride is okay with it because I communicate that with her beforehand, I just don't like doing it. And I know there's a lot of people that probably don't as well. So we'll see. I'm still experimenting with the DJI mic. Great quality. From what I've tested so far, it's proved to be super useful. So that is a great mic to consider. But the next one and the main one is my Tascam DR10Ls. I have 2 in a little Tascam bag that I just keep at all times, especially for miking the groom and miking the officiant. And the last is my reception setup, and that is my Sony TX660 paired with the mic sleeve. So I've been using this setup for a few weddings now, and I actually really love this minimal setup for capturing speeches on the wedding day. So much better, so much easier, more efficient. I don't have to spend just 10 minutes going around finding people that are giving toast, miking everyone up. There's no surprises, especially if like someone stands up and doesn't have a mic. So it's really useful to have that attached to the DJ's mic to capture all of the speeches. Now, and if there's time, I will still set up a Zoom H6 on the DJ soundboard as well, just for redundancy, but the TX660 really has replaced me going around throughout the reception and miking everyone up individually. And then last, let's talk about lighting, because you gotta have lighting when it comes to capturing weddings, especially if you wanna create contrast within your shots and get a really unique look within your frame. For my on-camera solution, I use the Aperture MC Pro, and this light is great. It's perfect for dancing and the send-off, but it's not so great for stylizing your speeches. That is where I'm still going to recommend you consider investing in an external light solution like the Amaran 60XS lights. Those are what I use, and they really serve me well when I want to add some contrast and style my frame for the reception. But for the sake of this video and keeping things minimal and having everything you need in one bag, an on-camera light is going to help you reduce risk and avoid all the obstacles that you can in terms of setting up lights or having not enough time to set up lights or fearing that someone's going to run into it, trip over it, someone's going to get hurt, or you're just going to create a bad experience with your super bright lights during the dancing, which has happened. But in conclusion, the beauty of this bag is it's versatile, it's lightweight, it's water resistant, it's comfortable, and it's affordable. And I've used a lot of sling bags, a lot of camera bags, and this one is by far my favorite. Now, do I think it's gonna be the end-all solution for every wedding videographer? No, because there's some people that have a very different workflow, a very different process, and you need a lot more on you at all times so that you can create in a way that is true to you in your style and that gives you peace of mind. For me, I've been going on 11 years as a wedding filmmaker, and I can tell you that having less gear to worry about is so creatively freeing. I don't have to stress out about all of these things that just weigh me down creatively and cause so much barrier to creating in a way that's just genuine and authentic, and I'm not stressing about the tools. I'm just focused on what's in front of me instead, because I have everything I need on me at all times. And then I can be like the photographer and just create weddings without having to worry about hauling all this stuff. Is that still the reality? No, because I still have to worry about tripods and lighting and all the things. So was there a point to this video? Maybe not. But either way, thank you for watching. I hope you found it helpful and valuable in some way. What do you guys think of this camera bag? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you want some more of it? Do you use something completely different? Either way, I'd love to hear from you guys. So drop a comment below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.